All right, we are coming off a 4-1 day. My 5 personal bets on Pt.1 yesterday. And if you want to see my personal bets, games that I personally have action on, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at Pt.1. We're also 2-0 in our last 2 college basketball tier package picks on that very same webpage. And the link for today's college basketball tier package pick is in the description section below. And with that said, guys, I just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you find yourself enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into some action. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you're not too hungover from that Super Bowl game yesterday. That was a great game. I did not have one sip of alcohol. That's why I am feeling great today. But anyway, the Pistons take on the Wizards, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off on Monday, February 14th, 2022. Happy Valentine's Day to you out there. Hopefully you're going to have a good day with your sweetheart. Or if you're single, hit the dice table. Treat yourself. Anyway, Washington is -4. Totals 218.5. We saw early movement toward the Pistons and the under in this one. Total opened, Washington opened 4.5 down to 4. Total opened 219 down to 218.5. And despite their current skid, well, the Wizards did get the W recently against the likes of frontrunners Brooklyn and Philadelphia. Now, the Wizards have played some pretty tough defense late in games this year. They're in the top 10 in fewest fourth quarter points allowed at home. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Kyle Kuzma, he's dropping 16 points a game along with 8 rebounds and 3 assists. Meanwhile, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, KCP, he's scoring over a dozen points a game himself, along with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Now, they're taking on a putrid Detroit team who's gotten the W in only 4 out of 28 road games. That's good for only 14% in that category. And when it comes to the defensive end of the court, the Pistons are actually dead last in guarding the 3-ball, and they're letting their opponents make nearly 50% of their field goals against them when they travel. Now, when it comes to the injury report in this one, Jackson and Livers are out. Bagley is questionable. Meanwhile, for Washington, it's Porzingis and Gafford who are out. Of course, Bradley Beal, he's still out indefinitely for them as well. Now, total-wise, Washington 17-12 to the over at the Capital One Arena. Meanwhile, the Pistons saw their last 2 straight get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Washington -4 and the over 218.5. Next matchup, it is going to be OKC versus New York, 7:30 p.m. East. The New York Knicks are -8, totals 206. And no real surprise here, we did see early movement toward the Knicks and the under in this one. New York opened 7.5 up to 8. Total opened 206.5 down to 206 even. And as much as they've struggled here recently, the Knicks are still playing some pretty tough defense at home. They're allowing only 105 points a game at Madison Square Garden. And they're also in the top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, scoring-wise, Julius Randle, he's averaging nearly 20 points a game along with double-digit rebounds. Meanwhile, Evan Fournier, he's drilling nearly 40% of his three-pointers. He's also scoring 14 points a game as well. Now, when it comes to rebounding the basketball, the Knicks are actually in the top 10 in offensive boards. They're taking on an OKC team who's 22 games below 500, and they actually score fewer points per contest than any other team in the NBA. As a matter of fact, the Thunder scores just 99 points a game when they travel, and they're making only 40% of their field goals in that very same category. Now, when it comes to the injury report in this one, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Mike Muscala, and Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, they are all still out. Meanwhile, for the Knicks on the other side of things, Noel, Robinson, and Reddish, they are questionable. RJ Barrett, he is out. Now, total-wise, New York 16-12 to the under in the Big Apple. Meanwhile, OKC, they saw 5 out of their last 8 fall under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the New York Knicks -8 and the under 206. Next matchup, it is going to be Kings versus the Nets, 7:30 Eastern start time. Sacramento is -4 on the road here. Total's 229.5. But as good as these guys have been here recently, we are still looking at a Sacramento team who plays some pretty bad basketball collectively on the road. They're just 9-17 straight up when traveling this year. And they actually allow more points per contest on the road than any other team in the NBA. These guys have been terrible defensively away from home. And equally as bad, well, the Kings are letting their opponents make nearly 50% of their field goals against them when they travel as well. So all kinds of difficulties on the defensive end of the court for this Sacramento team. Now they're taking on a Brooklyn squad who does a really nice job shooting the basketball despite their recent struggles. Brooklyn's still in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage. And they're actually led by Patty Mills, who's drilling 42% of his three-pointers this year. Now, big LaMarcus Aldridge, he's also averaging over 13 points a game along with 5 rebounds. This is a team who doesn't have their stars in the lineup, but they can still get the job done, in my opinion. They do still have some great bench players and some really solid role players. And when it comes to defensive play, the Nets actually lead the entire NBA in defending the three ball. Not a lot of folks out there even thinking about defensive play with Brooklyn, but they are number 1 in guarding the three ball. Now, injury-wise, Irving, Simmons, and Harris, they are out for Brooklyn. Meanwhile, for Sacramento, Lamb is questionable. Davis is out indefinitely. When it comes to the total in this one, Sacramento is 16-10 to the over when they travel this season. They're also 5-0 to the over in their last 5 straight ball games. Meanwhile, Brooklyn went 4-0 to the over in their last 4 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Nets +4. And the over 229.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for our Part 1 video. It is going to be Blazers versus the Bucks, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Milwaukee's -15.5, totals 230. Now we're seeing early movement toward Milwaukee and the over in this one. The Bucks opened 15 up to 15.5. Total opened 229.5 up to 230. Now the Bucks have covered in 4 out of their last 5 ball games. And they're also winning nearly 70% of their contests at the Fiserv Forum. The Bucks are currently in the top 10 in home scoring. And they're amongst the best in the league in offensive boards at home. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's averaging over 11 rebounds a game, along with 29 points. Meanwhile, Chris Middleton, he's scoring 19.5 points a game himself, along with 5 boards and 5 assists. And when it comes to defensive play in this one, the Bucks currently find themselves in the top 5 in defensive field goal percentage at home. Now they're taking on a Portland team who lost 7 out of their last 10, and they're winning only 28% of their road games. Now Portland's biggest problem this year has been their defensive play, or lack thereof, however you want to look at it. But regardless, they're allowing nearly 114 points a game when they travel. And they also find themselves in the bottom 3 in guarding the three ball. Now, injury-wise, Bledsoe, Smith, and Johnson are out. Meanwhile, for the Bucks on the other side of things, Hill and Connaughton are out for them. When it comes to the total in this one, Milwaukee's 16-12 to the under in front of their home fans. Meanwhile, Portland on the other side of things, they saw their last 3 straight fall under the line themselves. 6-1 to the under in their last 7. I'm going to lean toward Milwaukee -15.5 and the under 230. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me for Part 1. Be on the lookout for Part 2 in the next couple of hours here or so. But before I get out of here, I just got to remind you, just real quick, once again, if you're thinking about signing up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com, just keep in mind we utilize that Patreon platform. Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on brockpage.com, you're going to get access to those picks you pay for all the way through the end of February. You can opt out at any time. And, well, I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, real quick, if you want to get access to every single pick that I give out on that webpage, you're going to want to sign up for my board member tier package. Not only are you going to get access to the board member tier pick itself, but you're actually going to get access to every single pick that I give out on that website all the way through the end of February as well. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.